Buenas tardes, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday. It's pretty funny that I say that because I was, reviewing my show from yesterday and I'm like, oh man, I started off by saying happy Wednesday. What was I thinking? But I guess that's what happens when you go on vacation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Next Step Show coming to you from the very sunny state of Florida down in the Miami area. And man, I'll tell you, what a gorgeous, gorgeous view. But you know what's really funny though is that I was at the grocery store the other day and the lady had given us bags, and I'm like, oh my God, honey, look, we actually have plastic bags running out of the store. I thought it was great. I thought it was phenomenal. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, 346-3000. See, toll free 866-552-1009. Hey, let me share some bit of advice with you, and this comes straight from Ephesians 6 verse 14. It says, stand firm then, with the belt of truth buckled around your waist, with the breastplate of righteousness in place. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to make sure that we are standing strong, that we are standing protected, that we are standing informed, and that we are not in any way, shape, or form being bamboozled, right, by these people, these politicians, right? And in some cases, maybe even some religious leaders or self-proclaimed religious leaders, right? Understand this, ladies and gentlemen, yeah? Right? You are an American, right? You are free, right? There is an obligation for you to ensure that you are protecting the values that have allowed you to be able, right, to thrive, that have been able to, right, make you the best version of you as possible. And I can tell you, many of us, right, that have traveled the world, we can actually say, right, with certainty that this is the freest country in the entire universe, at least this globe, right? Anywho, hey, real quick, hey, did you know that 82% of of people that reported doing positive things for someone else, right? Just acts of kindness. 82% reported feeling better, feeling more positive, feeling more of a sense of community. And hey, today is World Kindness Day, pero mira, I mean, it has to be more than today for all of us, right? And all the nonsense that we see going back and forth, it's just it's absurd, right? So take a second. Look at your neighbor to the left, look at your neighbor to the right, look at your neighbor that's right in front of you and just say, hey, what can I do for you? Oh, you know what? Don't even ask, right? Just do up like a little thank you card and just say, and hand it to them and walk away and be like, hey, thank you, right? And let them realize that you're with them, right? Not because you want something, not because of politics. You're with them because you simply are a good human being, and that's it. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have left? Hey, so I'm pretty excited. I want to share with you a little bit in this segment about my time here in Miami, some of my experiences. Right, I'm staying at one of the Trump International buildings, and we did this intentionally. I wanted to be able to talk to people who work here, and why is that? Well, there's a lot of diversity in Miami. I'm talking about. Listen, New York State has a lot of Hispanics, but you won't hear the amount of Spanish being spoken in New York the way you do here. And it's not other dialects that I've never heard. I know there's Turkish, there's Russian, or maybe a version of that, some Middle Eastern, but not many. And the thing is that everybody walks around here like, it doesn't matter. So why is it that we deal with that kind of stuff in New York State, where they say, "Hey, if you don't agree with me, then you're hateful"? Well, I don't get that. Listen, businesses, and we were like, well, maybe because it's a tourist area, although we are a little bit off season. But we went out a little bit more from where we're at. I, excuse me, I think I'm in a town called, or in, yeah, it's the Surfside, the town of Surfside. is where I'm at. So we went out of here, right? Because this is a different kind of place, I would have to assume, or some would may argue. And we went out, we went to South Beach and different parts of Florida, and we were like, man, it really does just simply make sense down here. Go to a grocery store, you buy, they put things in a bag, in a paper bag, they give you the option. And I asked the lady, I said, hey, is there a charge for the bags? And they gave me the most dumbfounded look. But what was really funny is that this cashier looks at me and says, you must be from New York State. And I just died laughing. I was like, how did you know? She's like, because New York State's the only state that does these absurdly just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever, right? To them. So, anywho, now the conversations that I've had with people, especially people that work here at the Trump International Tower hotel thingy, right? And they're telling me that they love the job, right? These are, I think they're called bellhops. These are people who park your car for you. I'm not sure what they're called, but you pull in. Valets, right? The valet parking. These are people that work in the restaurants. Most of them, right? Most of them are my color, right? If skin color matters to you, or maybe even a little darker, or maybe even a little lighter. But it's consistent. They said, listen, we love working for this organization because nothing matters other than the fact that if you work hard, you get recognized just as hard. What a concept. Doesn't matter what nationality, what skin color, nothing. I told one guy I was talking to, actually it was a lady. She's like, so where are you from? I saw her on the elevator. She's up on the 31st floor. I think we're on the 17th or 18th floor. But anyway, she's up on the 31st floor, the last floor, and I just looked at her and said, that must be one of the most breathtaking views, right, on this hotel. And she worked here apparently, and she says, well, it's beautiful from all the floors. I was like, yeah, no doubt. But the 31st, then we started talking. And I said, I told her where I was from. She asked, and I said, I'm from New York State. And she says, you're vacationing from tyranny. And I'm like, now that's an interesting concept. See, I thought I was taking a vacation to rest. I thought I was taking a vacation to, to kind of chill. And it wasn't. She's right. I'm trying, and we are all trying, just to take a vacation from the tyranny that we see in New York. And what gets me is we're going to talk in the next few segments about, some of the stuff going on nationally, right? But the thing is this. As we talk about these issues, and I play some of the cuts that I have for you today, I want you to remember that, in New York State, there's a lot of trickery going on, a lot of double talk, right? And let's not forget in Monroe County, New York, even though some of the towns, I'd say at least 2/3 of the towns did vote for Trump. Maybe a little less, maybe a quarter of the towns voted for Trump in large numbers, which is cool, because some of us look at the maps and we see it's deep blue and it's like, man, I wonder if there's any saving grace. But you see the left that supported or that won in Monroe County, all of them, because all of them won, all the incumbent, that's it, all of them are back in their seats. Every single one of them went out there, right? And for their last term have done nothing but sit there and promote anti-American ideas. I'm sorry, but that's what they're doing. Anti-American ideas. That's what they are promoting. And they all got reelected. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it was a whatever. Listen, the people spoke. The votes happened. And unless that is proven or shown otherwise, I'm not going to try in any way to say that these were. It is what it is. We voted, and they're in office. And every single cotton picking one of them, every single individual that has shown and have done anti-American things have voted back into office in Monroe County. And that's okay, right? But that's why we take vacations, so we can kind of get away a little bit from the tyranny, right, that we are under. But I have a feeling that what we're seeing happening in New York State today is going to come to an end. And I'm hoping that all of you, are sitting back listening and thinking, man, I really do need to prepare myself to be informed, to pay attention to what these people are doing so that we could see the trickery. Now, listen, the one thing that I have truly appreciated from all the picks that President elect Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, in my opinion, President Donald Trump, right, has done with his picks is that he's chosen people who truly believe in American ideologies. And we're going to tie that locally because, if these are the people that have shown, except for one of them, and I'm going to point them out. Eh, these are people that have shown that they have not just a political plan, right? But they have also shown that, wait a minute, political ideology be damned, right? Because what we need to focus on is not just American first or America first, but we need to focus on the values that make America first, which is God, country, and family. And listen, that isn't happening in New York State. Mira, we'll be right back right here in the Next Step Show to Conservative New Yorican 346-3000. I want to hear from you. Regresamos en unos momentos. Uh, is Bob in this week? All right, good. No problem. Welcome back to the Next Step Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for sticking with us. Again, let's not forget, join us. Join us on the show, 866-552-1009. So, I talk about political ideology. We talk about, just trickery, people coming up with excuses, this whole Trump derangement, this whole issue of we can't we can't help people or come together. Oh my God. Sorry about that. For some reason, I start talking and now I got a cough. I apologize. So look, back in November, earlier this month, a FEMA official was fired, right? And you've probably heard this stuff before, but a FEMA official was fired for directing disaster relief teams to withhold aid from Florida homes displaying Trump signs, right? An act that FEMA condemns as violating its commitment to impartial assistance. Um, now, remember, FEMA was run by who? Well, currently still is run by who? Right. So this incident it promoted or it prompted the Florida governor Ron DeSantis. Hey, I wonder if I could run into him while I'm here, to do an investigation. And the thing is, I gotta ask. You're right, and I'm going to play you a cut here in about a second that's going to kind of give her explanation. And I got to ask, is that right? Hey, Bob, can we play that cut? Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it right from her mouth. Now, I am wondering though, was she really following the rules? Because FEMA contends that she's not. But we also know that this particular administration, in the in the run of many of these programs or many of these agencies, are pretty notorious for fibbing, right? Was was this a race issue? This FEMA official was a black woman who was saying she's following policy. Now, the thing is this: I have not found anything that would validate her claim of avoidance. I've seen the policy, or things that I would assume are the policies. This is all from researching online, right? I says, but I've seen no indication that homes with Trump signs were targeting nowhere. We're targeting FEMA. Now, the one thing I know, I know this certainty, right? With certainty, I know from being around the world, from being in the military, right? From assisting in some major issues throughout this globe of ours, right? That when it comes to traumatic events, like the major floods that they were, just any traumatic event, the last thing that comes into someone's mind is their political ideology. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you're an individual that's out there and somebody's coming to help you and they look kind of lefty and you're like, no, 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 we don't want your help. We want a Republican or a conservative to come save us. Really? Are we supposed to are we political ideology, ladies and gentlemen? And see, the thing is this. I do kind of believe her. I do kind of believe that someone told her, whether it was FEMA bigwigs from the top that have put that down, or whether it was just a jerk supervisor that she had, right? But the thing is this: if her political ideology did not align with whatever that mandate was given, then why wouldn't she have taken the ethical and moral roads, the paths that led to people not losing lives, to people not being in distress, to people finding a place where they can find refuge? Refuge, right? But no. See, and I've talked about this through my campaign in the past. Political ideology needs to go away. Political ideology needs to be the last thing that any service provider is able or gives. Now, listen, we spend a lifetime talking about what we believe in, but we should never spend a moment saying that I can't help you or I'm going to align with rules and regulations and policies, right, that I know are wrong. And the only reason, again, why someone would sit there and try to say and try to get us to believe, right, that people, it just so happens to be, as she just so happens to be, that people with Trump signs on their house were attacking her. I'm going to call a Balarkey card on that. But I want to shift here real quick because that issue. I truly hope that Governor DeSantis, is able to do a thorough investigation, because that individual that you just heard in this recording needs to go to jail. If there's anybody, if he can prove that she is truthful, that she was given a directive, that individual needs to go to jail. And I'm sorry, you know what? She knows better. Political ideology led her decision to follow those instructions. But let's shift to what's happening right overseas, because again, the Don is making some phenomenal choices for his team. And one of them I'm going to start off with, which is Senator Marco Rubio, the Department of State guy. I love it, and I love him. I loved him then, and I love it even more now. Bob, can we play that cut? Hamas is 100% to blame, and somebody, tenemos a alguien que tiene los cojones to say it politically. Listen, political ideology be damned. Hamas is literally taking civilians and putting them within their schools and hospitals. And Israel's doing everything they can. We've had people on this show that talked about it. Israel has gone above and beyond any other country in the nation to make sure this isn't happening. So I do believe it. When Trump says we are going to end that war, I believe it. I believe it because now the truth comes out. See, Hamas, listen, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll make this quick, right? October 7th was not simply just a heinous attack on Israel. It was the start of what they were hoping would become, right? This ability to shape a narrative to make Israel look like the bad guy, right? Kind of like they did to Trump. Listen, this is the left's, this is what they do all the time. This is exactly what they do. So no, the strategy of Hamas was to bring civilians in and make them the target so they can change the narrative globally. And what do we see happening in New York? My gosh, there are county legislators in Monroe County that are sitting there saying pro Hamas stuff. I truly apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I don't know why I'm coughing so much. Pero mira, I'm going to go ahead and get a drink of water so I can stop this coughing. So I'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Stick with us, 346-3000, right? And if you're not in that area code, 866-552-1009. I'd like to know what you think about the Hamas war because there is so many different opinions. Mira, regresamos. Don't change that dial. Welcome back to the Next Step Show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for staying with us. We're here at the bottom of the hour with some great conversation going. Keith from Rochester, thank you. Keith, hermano, ¿cómo estás? Well, my Keith, my guess on that would be political ideology, would be self-interest, would be that he sees an opportunity to run for office, and because of the state that he's in, because of the climate of that political or the political climate in Arizona, he's just taking advantage for it, though. But don't we see that in Monroe County too? Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Keith, because yes, I asked that question of one individual, one of the guys parking cars. He's about 29 years old, doesn't really do politics, but since Trump came around, started paying more attention because he works here, and then he realized, or when he realized that Marco Rubio, yes, there was a sense of pride. Now, but I'll tell you, Keith, doesn't I mean, Rubio has experience in this. I mean, his I was going through his history and his his experience. He does seem to he does seem to have what it takes for that. Yeah. No, absolutely. Although I have to admit this, Keith, I absolutely loved Ted Cruz, and I wouldn't mind seeing him in this administration as well. And I'm really glad that we have. I'm really glad that we do have a Latino, and I think that's important, not just for political, what people see, but so that the country, so that fellow Latinos can see. Oh, wait a minute. Again, I can go beyond what's in front of me. Remember, I used to like C-SPAN. Hey, Keith, before you hang up, let me get your opinion on another one of Trump's pick, a local one. May I? Did he hang up? Oh, bummer. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Now that I can stand by absolutely. But I've loved all of Trump's picks except for one, and that's a local one, and that was the Lee Zeldin. He's set to run the EPA. I mean, you look at the guy's 22 gubernatorial race. I mean, he's pretty much not even unknown, but he's not even liked. What's your opinion on that, Keith? Now that I believe that is the case more so than the case for Senator Rubio. Well, there is nothing wrong with expecting loyalty from those people that you give 100% loyalty to. Absolutely, positively. Keith from Rochester, thank you again for calling the Next Step Show. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, we're going to talk about some of his other picks, right? Because the one thing that I want to make sure we all know, loyalty means you hold them accountable. Doesn't mean you become a bobblehead. We'll be right back right here. See, on the Next Step Show, coming to you from sunny Florida for this week. Yep. So to conservative New Rican, listen, today is National Indian Pudding Day, right? Which is something that was established in New England, a dessert made from cornmeal, milk, molasses, and spices. And listen, don't get your undies all tied up, okay? The Indians actually played a role in making this pudding. It wasn't some name that they came up. It's actually a good tribute to them. So have some Indian pudding today, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I have to say, other than Zeldin, right? I think we've had some great picks, right? Picks, well, these are people who truly enjoy, or not enjoy, embody, and I'm sure they enjoy too, the American values, right? God, country, and family, each having a stance very much like me. Political ideology be damned. Political ideology be damned. Let me say that a third time. Political ideology just be damned, right? Because for them, for the Donald, it is all about you and your prosperity. It is all about making it possible, yeah, to remain the beacon of freedom throughout this entire globe of ours that isn't as big as we think. And I'll tell you, his pick for the U.S. Embassy to NATO. Oh my gosh, we'll have to talk about that in another show because I can expound on that for the next 3 hours. Right, the work that she has done in the North Country, an outstanding individual. But his pick for border Cesar Tom Holman. Oh my God, listen, this guy, I'm excited because people like Hocus Pocus, right, are going to be held accountable, right? This guy truly, his pick, right? This pick has truly highlighted how far down the rabbit hole this progressive left is willing to take us, right? And to reference David from Haskinsville, New York, a caller from yesterday, right? The left, the progressive left especially, has never been about the people. Just look at what's happening in New York State with their sanctuary cities. And there, you're agree with me or not, or agree with me, or if you don't, you're wrong and hateful. And she's even started a campaign on that. But here, Bob, I'm going to ask you in 1 second. I'm going to ask you to play the next four clips back to back, if that's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just an example of what we're going to see coming, the good things that's happening, but it's a perfect example of leadership and leadership that we need here in this state. Bob, when you're ready. After this one, I'll say something quick and then consecutively the next three. You better start packing now, ladies and gentlemen. Hocus Pocus in New York State, who sat there and promoted and supported and pushed, right? This Kamala Harris lady to try, and what you heard in the beginning of the clip was Kamala, right? Bob, if you don't mind the next three, back to back. And ladies and gentlemen, see, that is leadership. That is the type of Americans that we need to have in power. Now, I included, I was going to just do Tom on some of these clips, but I figured, let me show you the contrast to what we almost put into the White House. Well, not almost, because we beat her pretty bad, right? But remember, Hocus Pocus, Letitia James, the Attorney General, all these people who swore to go after Trump, right? Locally, from Bellows to Jamie Romeo to just about the entire Democrat caucus, were sitting there saying, "Go Trump." I mean, if listen, right? The clerk was even out there campaigning for her raise in Kamala Harris gear, and again, this is the kind of lack of leadership that we have in New York State. Now, I'll tell you, my hope is this: that the gains that we've made, because look, Trump won, for example, where in Sweden he won by almost 40, what is it, 52%. In Ogden he won by 64%. Clarkson by 63%. I'll tell you though, look, in Penfield and Parrington and Pittsford, it was about that 60-40 split across the board, right? And these people are literally sitting there saying that it's okay for us, and that those people that listen to them should go out there and vote for that junior buffoon, Kamala Harris. No, cartels, you're done. And frankly, this is what I'm hoping that all this turns into, right? Because we need to stop doing things like creating states that are sanctuary states. Listen, send them home. Anchor babies. Oh man, I know that's a whole nother topic, right? Anchor babies. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. If you're a drug dealer and you made $1 billion, right? You don't keep that money when you get caught. That money goes, well, I don't really know where it goes, but that money goes into the police. They take it, they keep it, right? So tell me something. If you are breaking the law by coming here illegally and you drop a baby when you cross that border, how is that any different? Rosemary, thank you for your comments. Rosemary said here, I'll share it with you guys. You read it. I only got a couple minutes left, but the thing is this. I also want to point this out, right? Prop 1 was up on the ballot, right? And the numbers shown that 9 of the 11 counties, right, because they were limited in resources, that the coalition targeted people voted against Prop 1 and voted. Let me see, Prop 1. There's more people that voted against that than voted for Trump. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about leadership. It's about God, country, and family. So check it out, as I always say. And I'll end it on this. Don't forget to check out the video of the beautiful beach. Enjoy it a little bit. Be a leader, be a leader, be a leader. Y nunca te olvide aquí, right? On the voice of liberty, right? We love you. We stand with you. And God bless this state and these great United States of America. Hasta mañana. See you then.